Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and quite frankly, the FNAF video blew up. I got a whole bunch of new subscribers from it, and y'all want FNAF, so I guess we're a FNAF channel now. I wanted to save some of my FNAF topics for this October, but hey, I'll do one now. It's quite appropriate that I get to redo this topic because I feel like I could have went a little bit more in depth with the FNAF animatronics. A lot of people didn't agree with what I had to say, and since then I found even more consistency, or even new metas. But who are they going up against this time? A lot of you guys in the comments said that you wanted to see how a fictional boxer would do. And what other fictional boxer is more iconic than Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion himself? Rocky is way stronger than Mike Tyson. So to differentiate this video from the last one, we're going to be putting Rocky Balboa in the FNAF 2 location with the toy animatronics, the wooded animatronics, and a whole bunch of other ones I forgot. And I feel like this is a fun thing to do because Rocky Balboa is actually pretty strong and he has a lot of good metas that I think people don't realize. So with that, let's get into it. This time we will be starting with the FNAF 2 animatronics, as I want to talk about FNAF scaling as a whole because I found so much more. Seeing as how I've already talked about the original gang in my video, let's talk about the Withers, as they're basically the same thing. They're not the exact same animatronics, but they're made of the same stuff pretty much, which is apparent if you look at both designs. The Withers should upscale the bite of 83. See, I got you, I said it right this time, bruh. But anyways, the bite of 83 was calculated to around wall level. A lot of people said that biting strength doesn't correlate to physical AP, so I took this opportunity to find some FNAF metas that would actually scale to like physical feats and stuff of the sort. The FNAF 2 animatronics all have a statement saying that they could rip limbs off pretty much, and each and every one has the capacity to shove you in the suit. The overall process is very violent and it kind of like squishes you into the suit, so I'm gonna let Phone Guy explain the actual process.
Now that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcibly pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth when they pop out the front of the mask.
Due to the way that Phone Guy described and how violent the actual process is, the Withers would be around wall level, and by extension pretty much all of the animatronics in FNAF 2, because they all can shove you in this way. But I'm going to talk about the toys because I found that there's a lot of misconceptions and downplay surrounding these toy animatronics, and I think they're important enough to FNAF 2 as a whole to actually talk about, so let's get into those guys. When talking about the toy animatronics, I think it's important to actually talk about why they were made. The toy animatronics have a criminal database installed into their head, and they were made to tap into this criminal database to make sure that no criminals were entering the pizzeria with all these children. And if one criminal were to actually enter, they were expected to fend them off. So these guys were kind of made for fighting. To add on to this point, the Endo 2 exoskeleton, which all the toys are made from, is stated to be bulkier, tougher, and more complex than the original exoskeleton which the Withers and the original gang are made of. Phone Guy also states that the toy animatronics should be defending you, implying that they could take on the Withers. And you can make the argument that the toys upscale even the original gang seen in the first game, as in the FNAF 2 ending screen, it says if they were to ever reopen the location as a whole, it would be a lot cheaper. And to add on to this point, in FNAF 6, one of the animatronics that you can buy actually broke 100 bones inside of a child. We don't know which one did this, but just looking at the entire cast of animatronics you can buy in that game, and it's not hard to realize that they share that toy animatronic aesthetic. So you can argue that the toys scale to this. This feat has been calculated to being around wall level. So with both sets of animatronics being solidified into wall level, let's move on to their speed, because that was another contentious part of my last video. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not backing off on the FNAF animatronics being like superhuman peak human speed, because we have calcs for it, and I got a lot of rebuttals stating that FNAF time is not supposed to be indicative of what's happening in real time. I got a whole bunch of comments stating that 1 minute of IRL time equates to 1 hour in FNAF time, meaning that the animatronics appearing and disappearing from different locations isn't accurate to their speed. For starters, there's no proof of this accusation. Not a single guidebook, book, or supplementary piece of material even states this to be the case. In fact, a lot of the spin-off FNAF books even state that the FNAF animatronics move faster than the eye can perceive. Granted, said books aren't canon, but there's plenty of statements implying that though they are a separate canon from the overall games, they are rather an equally valid canon. So things such as the attributes of the FNAF animatronics between books should be accurate and viable to their game counterparts. And we have multiple instances of the FNAF animatronics reacting to certain things. and jump scaring you in real time, such as Foxy running down the hall. If you were to use the logic that 1 minute is 1 hour, Foxy's mad dash into the office would be a lot slower than it's presented, which I think anyone who's played FNAF knows that that's not the intent. I'm not going to really go into the actual speed metas and calcs as I did that in my last video, and I don't want to sound like a broken record here, so if you want to see the exact calcs, you can check that video out. But overall, I still have the FNAF animatronics at around peak human to superhuman level speeds. Before I get into Rocky's overall scaling, I want to preface that Rocky is a fictional boxer, so downplaying him to tiers such as street level or athlete level, despite Rocky scaling to and having feats that are impossible for any human to naturally achieve, would be an pure reality fallacy. So basically, I'm just trying to say that Rocky is big, strong, and he's not human level. Moving on, I think the most agreed upon point of Rocky's peak in power and skill and overall just his peak would be around Rocky 4 during his fight against Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago is very important to Rocky's scaling because Ivan Drago, even before finishing his full training regimen to fight Rocky, had a punching power of 2150 psi. This punching power, when calculated, would put Ivan Drago at around wall level, making him much stronger than any real life boxer that ever existed pretty much. Rocky scales to this due to being able to go blow for blow with Ivan Drago, knock down Drago, and Drago even states that Rocky is not human and that his skin hurts Drago's hand to punch, going as far as to compare his skin to steel or iron. Rocky's durability should scale to his AP for obvious reasons. As a boxer, he's expected to take blows from people who he can hurt, so his AP and durability will be around wall level. Moving on to Rocky's speed, which is not a lot of quantifiable metas, granted, if we're looking at his base movies, but as a boxer, he should be around peak human to superhuman speeds, as even IRL boxers can punch at around 25 miles per hour, with especially notable cases being able to punch at 32 miles per hour. I don't think it's that crazy to say that Rocky is probably faster than a real life boxer, but at the very least, he'd be around peak human. But what if I told you there was a way to upscale both his AP and speed? According to Sylvester Stallone, who portrayed both Rambo and Rocky, as well as co-wrote 5 Rambo films and wrote a lot of the Rocky films, when asked which of these two characters would win in a fight, being Rambo and Rocky, Stallone stated that as long as the fight stays upright, Rocky would win the fight. Seeing as how Sylvester is a more than credible source, as he knows extensively about and was involved in the creation of both of these cinematic icons, this is a pretty credible author statement in my honest opinion. So using this, we can upscale Rocky from every single Rambo physical feat, and Rambo is no joke when it comes to his physicality. Rambo is someone who can casually rip off limbs and heads and crush necks and break necks, so yeah, he's a pretty tough guy. But seeing as how this is not a Rambo video, I'm not going to go that in depth with it. I'm only going to use a meta that I need to upscale Rocky. Rambo past his prime and old during Rambo 4 was also able to survive being hit with the shockwave of a Taliboy bomb explosion. The same shockwaves were displayed as being able to destroy small trees right before the same shockwaves were able to catch up with him. In order to destroy a tree to that level, the shockwaves would have to be outputting around wall plus to even small building levels amount of energy. Seeing as how Rambo was able to endure this very same shockwave, his AP and durability would upscale from that. Rocky by extension should scale to this, as Rocky can beat a potentially stronger Rambo than the one that endured those shockwaves. Rocky also gets a pretty nice speed upgrade using Rambo scaling, seeing as how Rambo could dodge bullets and outpace bullets during his first and third movie respectively, meaning that using this chain of scaling, Rocky would have an attack potency of around wall plus to possibly small building level, and possibly even being a bullet timer. So with all that, can Rocky beat the FNAF 2 animatronics? And in my honest opinion, if you use his consistent scaling using what's just shown in his movies, I don't think he's strong enough to fight any of the animatronics, as the Ivan Drago stuff is like low wall level. But if you used a more dubious Rambo scaling, then yeah, he should be able to take on any animatronic in a 1v1 fight. Though I feel the need to reiterate that he's not going to take them all on at once. I feel like if they jumped him, then he's going to die probably. Like Tyson, I think Rocky's best chance of surviving is just to play the game normally. I don't see Rocky being like Batman and taking them all out one by one while walking around. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I feel like his best chance is just to do his job. And using his highest ends, if any animatronic were to pull up to his office, then theoretically he should be able to take it out. So it would be a lot easier, as he wouldn't have to really deal with a lot of stuff. But that seems to be using Rocky at his highest, while these guys are like casually wall level. But hey, at the very least you should be able to take out Balloon Boy. And with that, I hope I answered your question if Rocky could survive this, with the ultimate conclusion being yes, he could if he played the game normally. But before I wrap the video up, I would like to thank you guys for helping me get to 1,500 subscribers, bro. This channel is really growing super fast, and it's been really fun to see this channel grow. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe and share it. It really helps the channel grow and be a part of the wave, you know? I would also like to thank Sharoris on Discord. I'm gonna put his channel on screen now. You should give his channel a subscribe. This guy hooked me up with all the FNAF scans. I would not have been able to make this video without him. And a lot of future FNAF videos will be significantly easier with him at my assistance. So you should give his channel a subscribe. I would also like to thank Crisis, because he's the one that pointed out the Rambo Rocky meta. And he gave me Rambo scans, so yeah, check his stuff out. If you like this Rocky scaling, then he's your guy for Rocky scaling. He's got like 5 videos on the subject, so give his channel a watch. He's one of the better power scaling channels on YouTube. We'll be back next week, and until next time, stay Big G fans.